Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talking Housewives with Dee. I'm Dee, and today we are talking about the Real Housewives of Rhode Island, Season 1 Reunion Part 1. So, I'm still trying to figure out how to recap reunions, you guys. I recapped Beverly Hills, and I thought that I did a terrible job. I did so bad. It was so boring. So, but that was a boring season, so I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how to do this because I took notes and halfway through I stopped because it was just very repetitive. So, I'm trying my best. I'm trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. So, um I I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm going to try to go through it pretty quickly. But yeah, I do apologize if this is a little boring. I Your girl is trying. Give me like one more season of Housewives and I think I'll get this reunion thing a lot better than where we started off. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So it's reunion day and we only get two parts, which I think this is probably the one show that needed three parts, but we only get two. So here we are, part one. We start this off with, the ladies they're in New York. They're coming into the hotels, whatever. The cameras are watching them and get ready. They're nervous as they should be. It's their first reunion, don't really know how these things go. Then they start talking about Rula's nose. Again, I think her nose job looks good. I did a whole comparison in one of my videos. I think her nose job looks good. Now, is it a little bit, upturned? Yeah, it is. But I think she probably went to Turkey to get that nose because that's the noses that they do in Turkey. But eventually the nose is going to drop. It's fresh, it's new, it's sloped. I think she looks fine. A lot of people just say she looks like a Whoville and all that. Again, I think she looks fine. I didn't think she even needed plastic surgery, but like I said, I think if I were to go on this show or any type of reality show and I look back at myself on camera after being secure of myself for so many years, I look back and I see something that just, I'm like, oh my God, do I really look like that? Yeah, I get it. I get it fixed too. Not gonna lie. So Rula can do whatever she wants with her body. I think her nose looks fine. A lot of people disagree. But we'll see how it looks. Give it another year or so. That thing's gonna drop. It's gonna look great. So now everyone is all sitting, they're sitting down with Andy. Andy asked them, how's their newfound fame? And he asked them, like, have they met different housewives? And then they make, he says that, a lot of viewers are getting you guys confused with one another at the beginning of the season. Now, I was one of those people. I did get them confused like the first episode, but then like around episode 2 or 3, I started like I know their faces. I would get their names mixed up though, but like I know their faces. Compared to like Salt Lake City, I couldn't tell Lisa and Meredith apart for the entire season. I'm just being honest. Couldn't do it. But yeah. So we start off talking about Rosie versus Kelsey, and it starts like we segue into that because they talked about, all the women looking alike and Andy says, well, a lot of people say that Rosie and Kelsey look alike. I think they kind of do look alike. They have like similar features. Um, Kelsey says she doesn't see it. Like she seems like she's actually offended by this. Rosie says that, she doesn't hate the comparison, but she doesn't see it. And that right there just sets the whole tone for Kelsey and Rosie. Kelsey just does not like Rosie and she's a hater. I'm just gonna say it. That's it. And Rosie, you could tell that she's at least trying. Like she's not like evil. You know what I mean? And honestly, I think Rosie's beautiful, by the way. Kelsey's beautiful too. Honestly, they're all beautiful. I think that Rosie would look better if she just did her makeup differently. She goes really heavy on the contour and the bronzer. And I heard someone say that no offense to my girls out, in the UK, but they said that she does her makeup like a British girl. And I'm like, she does kind of look British. Just saying, no offense to you guys, look, we gotta look out here in America too. But yeah, it's a little heavy. I think if she lightened up a little bit, she'd look so much more beautiful. Again, she is beautiful, but I just feel like her makeup is really working against her. All right, enough of that. So, Andy says it seems like they made up at the Arabian Nights party, and Kelsey says that she thought that their apologies were aligned, but she watched it back, and Rosie said in the confessional that Kelsey's apology was fake. And Rosie doubles down. She's like, "Yeah, like I did think your apology was fake." And then Andy asks, like, "How did this feud even start?" And it literally started because of the Instagram post. So I think that's crazy. Kelsey claims that Rosie was talking shit about her like way before they started filming and all that. And then Kelsey says that, I did your hair, whatever. You didn't post me, you didn't mention me, but like you mentioned everyone else in the cast. You're always at Pizza Mama, whatever. And then Ashley jumps in, and we only hear from Ashley like twice, really. Ashley jumps in and she defends Rosie. It was like, well, there was like no type of written agreement or anything. Like she paid you for a service. Like she had no obligation to post you, which is true. She didn't. And then Kelsey's just not trying to hear it. Like she's really not. And then we get into the slam pig of it all. And Kelsey says that she doesn't fit the definition of a slam pig because a slam pig is like a flat, sloppy whore, ugly, blah, blah. And she is obviously not any of those things. And Rosie's like, well, like, listen, a slam pig can be whatever you want. I mean, it is a whore, like, it's a whore. And then she asks Rosie, do you really think I'm a slam pig? And Rosie's like, no, I don't think you're a slam pig. So Andy says that people are saying that Rosie was looking for a fight when she had all her blueprints and stuff laid out at the table when Kelsey came over at the siren. Now, I do agree. I don't think she was looking for a fight, but I think that she was trying to have a moment and Kelsey just kind of beat her to the punch and Rosie just lost her shit. And obviously, like, the way Kelsey came in was very ridiculous. And I think that really set Rosie off too. Because, like, when Kelsey came upstairs, Rosie couldn't even get into the mood to show her, like, the whole layout of the house because she was just so pissed off. And that's when, she unleashed on her. So, yeah, Ashley says, well, you guys did say in the castle that you wanted to see the blueprints. And Rosie produced the blueprints, right? So yeah, Ashley doesn't really say much in this, and the only time that she really does talk is to defend Rosie, which is not good. It's not good. So yeah. Now we have so Kelsey goes back to the whole slam pig thing. And she says that she's not a slam pig. And she's like, I'm not a slam pig, but do I suck dick as a career? And Rosie says, well, your only coworker was a woman in Florida for 10 years. Gagged. Everyone's gagged, okay? Andy's like, oof. Liz's like, oof. Everyone's silent. Kelsey is silent because she's gagged. Okay? Rosie was real quick with that one. I wonder if she, like, rehearsed that one. It was good, though. It was good. Then Kelsey says, do you suck your husband's dick? And Rosie's like, no, not really. It's not really my thing. Okay, well, call me when you need a divorce lawyer. That's all you gotta say, Kelsey. That's it. You should just shut up, whatever. Rosie keeps eating you up, and you just need to stop, okay? You need to stop. Andy brings up Kelsey accusing Rosie of having an affair. Rosie said that, look, it was a rumor on Reddit like 3.5 years ago. And it was actually a student that was having an affair with a coach. And Kelsey said that, no, like, it was you. It was you. The coach got a DUI and you were in the police report. And Rosie was like, I was not in the car. I was not in the report. I never even met this man. And I believe Rosie because I feel like if she did know this man, someone would have some type of proof somewhere. So Jo-Ellen's like, yeah, like, she was in a police report. So Andy asks, how many of you guys have seen this police report? No one raises their hand. And Jo-Ellen's like, well, I didn't see it, but I know my friend who, like, wrote the report said that Rosie was in it. Now, if this was the case, you can easily find police reports online, you guys. You pay, like, a processing fee, you get the report. Episode came out on Sunday. It's Tuesday. No one has produced receipts because there is no receipts. Rosie was not in a police report. If she was, we would have it. They would have it. They are so full of shit. Kelsey needs to get over this thing with Rosie. Move on. It's going to be the best for you if you just get along with this girl. Jo-Ellen, I don't know why the fuck you're falling behind Kelsey. I have my thing with Jo-Ellen. I have my thing with Jo-Ellen now. I'll tell you guys when we talk about her and Liz. But yeah. Anyways, Rosie was in the report. Rosie wasn't fucking the coach, okay? Now we're going on to Liz. Liz's cat passed away, unfortunately. Ugh, so sad. She's a new grandma. And they talk about her and Jerry being related. Now, we get to this part where, remember in the confessional, when Rula first came on, and they were having that dinner, whatever, they're talking about Brian and his indiscretions and all that. In a confessional, Rula said that she insinuated that Liz and Jerry cheat on each other, or Liz cheats on Jerry. And she says, let's just say when the cat's away, the mice will play. Is that it? Or is the mice? When the cat's away, the mice will play. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, guys. So she insinuated that there was some cheating going on. So Andy asked Rula about that, and he says, do you regret saying that? Oh, sorry. He says, do you regret saying that Liz didn't produce kids? And she says, yes. And then that's when they bring up the insinuation in the confessional. Now, you can tell that Rula regrets saying that. Rula is a confessional gangster, by the way. She does this like weird thing in the confessional where she like shimmies her shoulders like she just ate, right? She didn't. You could tell that she regrets saying it and that she's low-key scared of Liz's reaction. So apparently what happened was, on Block Island of all places, right? Liz and Jerry were separated for a time. Liz met a friend that she hadn't seen in 30 years. They were laughing, flirting, having fun, and all that. She claims that's what Rula is talking about. And then apparently, Rula and Brian called Jerry at 6 a.m. the next day to tell Jerry what Liz has been doing. Rula is like, what? That is a lie. That's a lie. I didn't do it. And then here goes Jo-Ellen. Yeah, they like to call people. Then her and Rula, they go a little back and forth. So Rula says, Liz, like, I swear that was a lie. I did not do that. She'd have to talk to Brian about it. And so Andy says, well, it seems like you are trying to say in your confessional that this wasn't an isolated incident. Rula doesn't want to talk, okay? She's like saying something, then she stops. She doesn't want to really say anything. Do I believe that this was an isolated incident? No. Do I believe that Liz and Rula had conversations about this in the past? That, yeah, she cheated on Jerry. Yeah, I do believe that. I do. She shouldn't have said anything. It's like, pretty fucked up. She shouldn't have said anything. And I think she regrets saying that. She's like, maybe, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, I believe Rula's telling the truth. I don't think that, and I hate to defend this man, I really do. I don't think that Rula and Brian called Jerry. I think Liz is just saying that because of what happened with Jo-Ellen, and that's easy to, blame on Rula. I don't think they did that. That's just what I'm feeling. I could be completely wrong, but yeah, and I don't feel like this was an isolated incident. I feel like they had conversations before, and Rula should have just shut the fuck up and never said anything in a confessional. That's it. That's all. Now we move on to Ashley. We'll go back to Liz in a sec. We move on to Ashley. Her cry counter is 7. They say that Ashley doesn't hang out with any of the women except for Rosie. And Ashley says that she's never been invited out by anyone. Because Kelsey made it a point to tell some interviewer that she reaches out to Ashley and Ashley never responds. And then Ashley's like, yeah, I have responded to you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, no one has really asked her to hang out. And then Rula says, well, she sees how everyone is acting towards Rosie and their behavior. Why would she want to hang out with, any of these other women? So, Kelsey says, well, would you hang out with me? And Ashley says, yeah. It's like, oh, we gotta check in with Rosie, like jokingly. And then she starts talking about her and Rosie's friendship, and she almost like starts crying because she says that Rosie really is a true friend to her, and I do believe that. Andy switches gears. He asks Jo-Ellen, what's the craziest thing that she's done in her 20s? And Rula interrupts, like, oh, she's still doing it. And they start going back and forth. Rula says that Jo-Ellen got kicked out of her college, a sorority, whatever. Then she brings up getting kicked out of high school and all that. And they just start going back and forth. And you guys can see that Jo-Ellen's real personality slips out when she's talking to Rula. Her voice changes and everything. She sounds real mob wives, you know? Like the way that the one thing that I love that she said, she goes, your husband's a slut. Like, just the way that she says it. Your husband's a slut. Oh my God. Ah, it's so good. But you can see like the real her slipping out. And then when she starts going back into her calm little thing, that, my dogs, they're barking. I apologize. So like, yeah, when she starts going back to like her calm little thing, that's when Liz like mocks her. You can tell. I think Liz be mocking her. She does it in this reunion too. And I think that that's just fake. That's why Liz mocks her, because she knows how Jo-Ellen is. Jo-Ellen puts on this nice soft voice like, Liz, I was just trying to help. I was trying to protect you. But then she goes, your husband's a slut. I'll fuck you up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Jo-Ellen, like, the real Jo-Ellen slips out every time she talks to Rula during this reunion. So they start talking about Jo-Ellen and, her storyline with her mom or sister. She says that she did not steal Gary away from Jen, her sister. They said that Jen had a crush on him in like 7th grade and he like touched her boobs. Like that was it. It was never a big thing. She talks about her mom, saying that her mom like weaponizes her children against her now. Like if she were to say anything bad about her to Andy on reunion, then be hell to pay. So they just start really talking about that. Then they start talking about how she got fired from her job, and Jo-Ellen says, well, I didn't get fired, I got laid off. And now she's speaking, Rula interjects, and then Jo-Ellen tells her, like, why are you even talking? You're only on 3 episodes. Now, let me say something. Sure, Rula was on 3 episodes, but Jo-Ellen, you talked about her every single episode you were on. She was your storyline. Okay? Her and Brian were your storyline. Without her, it would have just been your mom and your weird relationship with your husband and your sister, and maybe a little fight between you and Liz. Half of the season, it was rula la. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. Okay? Let's stop right there. So anyways, Jo-Ellen says that, the whole like it was a big layoff, and she doesn't know if Brian's phone call contributed to her getting laid off, but she does know that her boss did talk to her about the accusations that Brian, made against her. Rula, again, she's jumping all in that, whatever. Then Jo-Ellen says that again, she's not blaming Brian. She doesn't know if that had anything to do with it. Andy asks her, so are you working now? And Jo-Ellen says no, she's gonna be a stay-at-home mom, aka she is earning a lot more from this housewife check than any job could ever provide for her right now. So Andy breaks. We do a break, like a 5-minute break. Here goes Rula. Andy, Rula. And she says, I have the surgery records or times, whatever, that Brian was in surgery, the day that they say that he was out cheating. Like you can change timestamps on a dash, but I have his surgery time sheet, whatever the fuck she said. It doesn't matter because Brian's a liar, okay? And then Jo-Ellen's like, he feeds you AI stuff, like he's at conferences and all that, just so you can believe him, like whatever. So then they start talking to each other, like they get up, start talking, they're kind of in each other's face. And then Rula's like, I told you stop talking about it. I told you to stop talking about it. And Jo-Ellen's like, this is the reunion. What did you think was going to happen? I'm done with it, but it's a reunion. We got to talk about it. And then they just go on. their merry way. All right, now we're getting into the homeless situation. I was about to call it the homeless not toothless. Dear God. Isn't that a terrible name for a charity in Beverly Hills? Homeless not toothless? I think they would rather be toothless and not homeless. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a real weird charity, and I think they only do like one dental thing a year. Is it very strange? I don't what a crazy charity that is. Anyways, yeah, so they get into the homeless of it all. And Liz does apologize again. She says that, she's sorry. She never wanted to make it into like this whole big thing. But then she says that it was a setup. Like they knew Jo-Ellen, Alicia, and Liz knew what was going to happen in that car. It was a setup. They knew that this was a car ride they're going to be in and what they were going to talk about. And it was a setup. Liz says that Alicia sent Jo-Ellen, Liz, and Kelsey voice notes about what was going to happen in the car. Jo-Ellen says that she never listened to any voice notes, because she was at a concert. And then, y'all, Liz is like, oh yeah, you were at a Morgan Wallen concert. And I think Liz purposely say that to let everyone know that Jo-Ellen is MAGA, but they're all MAGA, basically. Like we know this. I've accepted it. I accepted it before I even started watching this season because if I didn't watch Housewives because people are MAGA, I would only watch Atlanta and Potomac. Do you know what I mean? I the like they're all. I won't get into it. But y'all know, okay? So I do believe that she said that on purpose. So they they're talking about that, and Alicia's like, well, I must be Academy Award winner if I could, pull off something like that. Liz claims that she was ambushed. Um Alicia says that no, if this was a setup, it would be a whole lot better setup than what happened. Like when no one set you up. And then Rula interjects herself again, and here goes Jo-Ellen. Shut the fuck up. And then Rula's like, kiss my ass. Now, here's the thing. Say what you want about Rula. Yeah, was she doing a lot? Yeah, she was, especially at the end of the episode. She was doing a whole lot. However, I don't think Rula is scared of Jo-Ellen. I truly do not believe that. Just like I never believed that Jo-Ellen was scared of Liz. Still don't. Do I think that Rula can whoop Jo-Ellen's ass? No. But I don't think she's scared of her. That's for sure. I truly don't think that she's scared of her. So, I don't know. I've been reading online. They're saying that Rula is just a whole bunch of talk. She ain't gonna do shit. I beg to differ. I feel like she can. Would it be a fight? Just like I said, it would be a fight between Jo-Ellen and Liz. It would be a fight. I do believe it would be a fight between. I don't think Rula's scared at all. At all. But yeah, just thought I should throw that in there. So they break. Ooh, no, sorry. What was that? I said break for lunch, and then my voice broke. Sorry. So they break for lunch, and they start talking. Jo-Ellen makes some shitty, snarky remarks about Rula's new nose, whatever, her new face. And then they get back, and then they start talking about the Liz and Jo-Ellen fight at Capo, and Liz did apologize for pulling Jo-Ellen's hair, but she says she does not apologize for her behavior at Capo. She says that Jo-Ellen is evil, she's sneaky, and she doesn't trust her. Oh, fuck you, and all that. Like, she does not like Jo-Ellen. She'll never trust her. Like, ever. Jo-Ellen just claims that she was just trying to, uh, calm the situation down and all that. And Liz, like, you're putting your hands on me for 3 hours. I told you to get your hands off me, this, that, whatever. And Jo-Ellen's like, look, I was just trying to calm everything down. Like, it was a lot going on with you and Alicia. Then Ashley says that being someone that was there at that table and looking over, it was not a one-sided thing that was happening between Rosie, Jesus, between Jo-Ellen and Liz. It was not one-sided. They were both going at it. And she said that she felt like she needed to comfort Liz. And you can see Liz turn her head, almost get teary eyed, and she mouths thank you to Ashley. So if Ashley is saying that, I believe that Jo-Ellen probably was really aggravating the fuck out of Liz, and this is what happens. I'm not on the whole Jo-Ellen is so great. She's such a badass. I love her bandwagon that most people are on. And I'm not on the Liz is so evil. I hate her. She needs to be fired bandwagon. I'm not on that. I simply am not. Now, do I believe that Jo-Ellen should have been sitting next to Andy instead of Alicia? Yeah, looking at this, yeah, because I'm like, Alicia is barely saying really anything. Jo-Ellen should have been right there next to Andy. It should have been Liz and Jo-Ellen. That's what I'm picking up just from this first part. But I'm not a huge Jo-Ellen fan, and I'm not a huge Liz hater the way that most people. I see the opinions on Reddit and everything, and yeah, people, they will crucify you if you say anything wrong about Jo-Ellen or Alicia. But I see a lot more comments with my opinions on TikTok. It could just be my algorithm though. I don't know. So Andy asked Jo-Ellen and Liz, "Is this the first time you guys have fought?" And Jo-Ellen says, "No." And Liz like, "Well, tell them why." And apparently it was because Liz borrowed a snowsuit, a ski suit, and she wanted to get it dry clean because it smelled like smoke, and Liz got offended by that. And then they talk about the whole friendship of it all. And Liz says she has no idea where Jo-Ellen is getting the whole "we are best friends" thing, which is what I've been saying these past few episodes. I've been recapping. I really like it. Does not seem like Liz is best friends with Jo-Ellen. I never got that vibe. Apparently Liz didn't either. Uh, and so Jo-Ellen's like, "Well, I thought we were best friends." And Liz is like, "No, like, I don't know where you got that at." And she's like, "We spent Mother's Day together." And they're kind of talking back and forth, but what I can get from it was Jo-Ellen's mom and sister left her out of Mother's Day, and Liz was just trying to be there for her, despite everything. And Jo-Ellen is projecting a lot of her mommy issues onto Liz, and she needs to get therapy for that and just kind of stop. But yeah, she is projecting a lot of mommy issues, and it's not helping her situation with Liz at all. Okay, now I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. So they talk about Jo-Ellen and Rosie actually bonding over their mommy issues, and then we start talking about they show unseen footage about that. And then we get into how Kelsey told Rosie that this was the first time that she actually believed anything that was coming out of her mouth. And looking back, Kelsey's like, "Oh yeah, looking back, I can see how that was condescending, but I really did mean it." And Andy was like, "Well, I think the problem is you said that this was the first time anything like truthful has came out of her mouth." And then Rosie says that Jo-Ellen told her a couple of months ago that they had an entire group text talking shit about Rosie, and Liz told them to delete it all. And they admit that, yeah, we did have a whole text about Rosie, and yeah, we were talking shit about her. And Rosie is like, "No, why would I want to be friends with you guys?" And she says that her and Joel on Watch What Happens Live said that Rosie stopped answering her text, and Rosie says that she texts her on and off, but there was a period where she didn't text her because she saw some of the shit that Joel was doing. That was just mean, like mocking her road tripping thing and all of that, and the mean comments that she was saying about Rosie. And then we get into Rula and Jo-Ellen going at it with each other. Like Rula she says something and then they just kind of go from there. And then Joel's like, "Shut the fuck up. I'll get to you in a minute." And then yeah, they just start going at it. Um Rula calls Jo-Ellen a slut, and then that's when Jo-Ellen says, "Your husband's a slut." I love it. Sorry, I love it. And then Rula says that, "You fuck doctors and this and that, whatever." And then Jo-Ellen threatens to beat her up, and then Alicia's like, "No, she just got her new face." And then, yeah, Rula stands up. She starts pointing whatever. She kind of loses her shit. I don't think it was as bad as everyone was making it seem. I think Rula's just fed up with Jo-Ellen. That's it, and that's all. So that was the episode. This was a pretty amazing reunion, part one. I will say, very, very cool, very fun. and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, yeah. We're not gonna rate it because we're past that, but it was a good episode. So, that being said, my dogs are barking in the background. That means it's time for me to go. Thank you so much for listening to me yap about this, and I will see you guys back in Rhode Island for part 2 of the reunion. Bye.